As Volvo races towards electrification, they've got some pretty ambitious goals. So by 2030, they'd like to be pure electric in all their offerings. By 2040, they want to be completely carbon neutral. And starting in 2023 for all the model years, all of Volvo offerings will be either hybrid or electric, so there will be no more gasoline engines. I'm with the 2022 Volvo XC60 T8 Recharge, which is just fancy ways of saying it's a plug-in hybrid. And in this video, we're going to look at three things. We're going to look at what exactly the vehicle is, why it's important for Volvo's lineup, and is it worth considering among the competitors. For 2022, the XC60 does see a mid-cycle refresh. A lot of people won't notice a lot of the differences, if at all. The biggest one that stands out to me is the different pattern in the grille. Everything else still retains the same shape, and it's got that nice, clean, minimalistic design and the nice tall tail lights that wrap around and just give it a nice finished look. And yes, as usual, the Thor's hammer headlights, which to me are the best in the industry, still retain their place in all Volvo models, not just the XC60. Now, specifically with the T8 Recharge, which is their plug-in hybrid, the power comes from a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine. Combined with the battery and the internal combustion engine, it gets you 455 horsepower, 523 pound-feet of torque, all through an 8-speed automatic transmission. And what I like about that is manufacturers tend to lean towards CVTs when they have hybrids. So I'm happy that Volvo has kept that traditional stepped 8-speed transmission. It makes a big difference on the roads. Now, as far as the range goes, it's rated by Natural Resources Canada for up to 58 kilometers. Now, you can go a little higher depending on how you drive and what kind of power you're pulling from the vehicle. It really depends on driver inputs. There is an 18.8 kilowatt per hour battery that is up significantly from last year's model, and I think it's going to make a big difference in having these on people's short list if you're looking for a plug-in hybrid vehicle at all. On the inside, it's still predictable Volvo, very minimalistic. It's a clean look. The seats are the most comfortable in the industry by far. At least that's how I see it. If one of these fell off the back of a truck and ended up as my office chair, I would be a happy camper. Now, there's still too much reliance on the infotainment screen, and unfortunately that has your drive modes and all of your audio controls and your HVAC system. So sure, that's fine if you're doing lower speeds and need to tinker with something, but if I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour on a 400 series highway, I really don't want to be taking my eyes off the road and looking for the certain electronic tile to touch to change my fan speed, my fan direction, change my drive mode, and a few other things. So while it's a good looking system and it frames the front end very nicely, there's too much reliance on it. Yes, there's a physical volume knob, but I don't think that's enough. But if that's the way the industry is trending, then I don't think Volvo's going to make any changes. And the one drawback for potential buyers is not everybody is tuned in with the fully digital screen for about 99% of your controls, so that may harm Volvo. The infotainment does run off Google's Android-based system, which is good, not entirely great. Apple CarPlay is a new addition, and since a lot of us do use iPhones, it's a better late than ever scenario here. As far as the digital dash goes, it's a nice clean setup. You get everything you need as far as information goes, and there's really no problem with it now compared to some of the other offerings where it's one large screen in the case of Mercedes and the new BMW design language also has that. I'm not sure how long Volvo can hang on to what they have here as far as the tablet style and then the digital dash being two separate pieces. There are 5 drive modes here, and the unfortunate thing is you've got to touch the screen twice to get into them. There are no physical controls. So it is hybrid, power, pure, which is all electric, off-road, which I don't think a lot of people will end up using, but it's here as an option, and constant all-wheel drive, which is good in some of the more troublesome weather conditions, we'll say, in the Great White North. Now, there is an option to always start the XC60 in pure mode, which is your fully electric mode, and it's just a simple tap to get to that, and that's if you really want to make the most of all your power here. I think it's a good option. I don't know how many people will actually use it. I'm hoping more than less, but and it's good that Volvo has given us that option. Now on the road itself, the power is delivered very quickly regardless of what mode you're in. It's a very planted feel, and for a taller vehicle there's minimal body roll. It's still there, but not as prevalent as you may think it would be. With the optional air suspension, that really makes a difference in eating up all the bumps, and you put it into power mode and the car lowers down. If you're in the rear with the tailgate open and you have something heavy, you do have the option to raise or lower the car through a 2-button system back there. But as far as the actual driving dynamics go, it's a really comfortable vehicle. The ride quality is exceptional. It's really quiet, which is what I like about a lot of the Volvo vehicles, specifically the last couple of years. The drive quality is exceptionally smooth, very, very comfortable, and that's what it should be for a luxury vehicle. It's not as exciting as the BMW X3 or the Mercedes-Benz GLC, but what you're getting here in exchange for very active performance is a very quiet, serene, and comfortable ride. The XC60 T8 Recharge holds a really important place in the Volvo lineup, seeing as the XC60 is their volume seller, so you'll see more XC60s on the road than any other Volvo. Now in November 2022, Volvo is going to announce all the details about their all-new fully electric EX90, which is their largest offering, and it's their flagship vehicle. And if you recall, in 2014/15, when they completely made over the lineup, the XC90, which was their biggest offering, was out first. Now with the XC40 Recharge being one of two, along with the C40 fully electric vehicle being what they offer now, it's good to me that they've gone and extended the range and increased the battery size on the XC60. And it's important because if they are going to reach their goal of being fully electric by 2030 and fully carbon neutral by 2040, having their most popular vehicle at least come on a hybrid now with respectable range. The old one was, I think, around 31 kilometers, which really wouldn't do much of anything. But here we're at up to 58 kilometers, plus a little more depending on how you drive. It's an important step for Volvo to move forward with. Now, let's talk about charging times, because that is a factor when you're considering a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So on a level 1, which is what you plug into your wall, it's 13 hours. And that's almost an overnight depending on when you get home. Now, if you do go up to a level 2 charger, it's 5 hours, and that's a little longer than usual as far as some of their competitors go, and that's due to the 16 amp transfer rate as far as power goes. It can still be done. I would like to see something different for the 2024, maybe 2025 models, where it's not 5 hours at level 2, so you can get your charging done a little faster. This segment holds a lot of strong offerings between the BMW X3, the Porsche Macan, the Audi Q5, the Mercedes-Benz GLC, and for the non-German offerings, you have the Lexus NX as well as the Acura RDX. So should you consider the 2022 Volvo XC60 T8 Recharge if you want something that gives you a softer and smoother ride quality, something more on the minimalistic side on the interior, if your driving style on most days / most weeks can be tackled with up to 58 kilometers off electric range, you have a level 2 charger at home, I definitely think that the XC60 plug-in hybrid, the T8 Recharge, is something you should absolutely consider. There are some annoyances, such as having a lot of reliance on the infotainment system for things like your HVAC controls, and more importantly, changing your drive modes. I think that was a big miss, and I'm hoping that there's some kind of tactile button somewhere in the gear shift area, and maybe 2024, 25, 26 models. I think it's going to be later though, because this is the mid-cycle refresh, so if they're going to do anything like that, it's not going to be for a couple of years, but I do hope it's on their radar. Let's quickly touch on pricing before we wrap up. There are 3 trims. It's the Core, the Plus, and the Ultimate. And the Core starts in the mid-60s, the Plus starts in the mid-70s, and the range-topping Ultimate is in the low 80s. So yes, the price tag is a little high, but you're getting a lot of performance here. Again, mid-4s for the horsepower and low 5s for the torque. You get a plug-in hybrid, so you're saving fuel. So as is the case with all plug-in hybrid vehicles, you're front loading your cost by paying more up front, and then you see the savings come every time you don't stop at the gas station or you have your infrequent visits. And again, it depends on what your driving style is. So you could really go 2, 3, 4 weeks without having to put a drop of gas in the vehicle if the 58 kilometers per full charge matches what your lifestyle is and what your driving habits are. If you've got any questions on the 2022 Volvo XC60 T8 Recharge, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. For Driving.ca, I'm Jay Canna. For more news, information you can use, and reviews on plug-in hybrid vehicles, connect with us through our website at Driving.ca, and please engage with us on our social media platforms, including Instagram and Twitter.